Hi, everyone. Welcome to Global Education Opportunities Now. And we are happy you've joined us today for our conversation. And today we're diving into a very crucial topic that we've entitled How to Respond to Graduate School Admissions. Whether you just submitted your application or waiting to hear back, or you've been offered what? Admissions, right? Congratulations. And multiple offers, and you're deciding as to which one to respond to or to accept. This conversation is right there for you. Now, to help us unpack this conversation, I have two of my brothers, Mawena Tome and Gideon Aite. Let's welcome them to this conversation. Hi, Gideon. How are you? Good to see you once again. And Bramowina, good to see you once again. To get this conversation started, I'll start with probably Gideon. Could you help us share a little bit about your educational background? Where did you complete your first degree? And then probably if I could push you a little bit, right? What inspired you to pursue graduate school in the first place?
Thank you very much, Daniel. And good morning and good day to everyone from wherever that you are watching us from. I'm Gideon IAT, and I'm specializing in agricultural economics masters. Actually, I had my first degree at the University of Ghana, Legon, where I had a bachelor's degree in agricultural economics. On my inspiration for graduate studies stem from the motivation to sharpen my skills in special and analytical areas like price forecasting in to be able to help my institution, my community, to be able to help my country to address key challenging issues when it comes to agriculture. Because one main challenge in facing agriculture in Ghana is that farmers are not able to predict the prices for their commodities. That how do we help them to become more productive, to make informed decisions? Then my I realized my bachelor's gave me the foundation, but I needed to pursue further studies in order to become an expert in that area to help solve such critical challenges in the sector.
That sounds quite interesting, right? And I believe that once you are done, you'll be very profitable to the country. And I remember a story that one of my professors shared with me, my supervisor,
Yeah.
about how Rawlings, before he came to power, he traveled up to the north and helped the farmers transport all their goods. And that is so much in relation because most of the things that the farmers engage in, or almost everything, is perishable, right? So I think you're doing something great, and I'm very glad to have you here. The funny story that came to mind, I don't know that. Have you ever farmed before? Like,
I farmed at the University of Ghana. My parents are farmers, so I'm really into farming.
interesting. Oh my, oh my, oh my. So that's a clue, right, about Brad Gideon. When people see you on the with your tie and everything, and you're like, okay, agriculture economist. Have you ever farmed before? Then you're like, my parents are farmers and I've farmed before. Thank you. So we'll move on to Brahmawin Tome.
Hi. So my name is Mawena, and yeah, I'm currently economist. Um, I proud to this program. I did my undergrad in University of Ghana, just like Gideon, and I also read agricultural economics. From there, I came to the US in 2023 to continue with this program. Now, when it comes to what motivated me, I knew right from the beginning that I want to get a PhD. I want to become an expert in the area, and I also felt I want to become a consultant in agriculture. And a part of the world, you need qualification to be respected. I mean, as somebody with just an undergrad certificate, they consider you as naive And so I knew right from the beginning I needed a PhD. I couldn't go to school immediately after the program. I stayed over for another 1 year working in industry where I gathered some skills as well, which are helping me in my program right now. So basically, I knew I wanted to get a PhD. I knew I wanted to become a consultant, and I just gave it my best as and when the opportunity came, and then right there I am here.
That's very, very interesting. And we have another agriculture economist, and these two panelists are very good when it comes to anyway. You're looking into forecasting, right? So you look into the future. But to be sincere with you, when I reflect on why I consider grad school, right? And by the way, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Daniel Asama, right? And the reason why I consider grad school is because of the money. I know you people are very studious and everything, but I was motivated by the money. Why? Because I realized that first degree was becoming a common thing. Almost everyone was getting first degree. And second degree was also becoming quite common. So I'm like, okay, so what can I do to distinguish myself, right? Was to move on higher and higher on the academic ladder, right? So I can also charge more, right, for my skills and everything. So thank you so much for having you both here. And I'll move on to Bramawina now. You desiring to become a consultant, right, and an expert with that end goal, right? Now, when you're applying, were there some anxieties? Were there what were basically some of the challenges that you faced, and how did you overcome them? Right.
Of course, there were many anxiety along the way. Um, Little did I know that first class alone, finishing first class, is not the only absolute criteria that will be used to maybe select you for the program. And so I felt okay, I finished well. I did TA afterwards, so good things, and it was enough to secure me. And so when people started saying, okay, I got my admission, I got funding and all that, I was becoming anxious. Oh, what is happening? Is it that I'm not qualified? I'm not a good student. Am I that bad? These questions were coming in mind, and I was afraid of getting bounced. Yeah, and another thing that I felt was that even prior to the application, I thought that application process was difficult. Again, I thought that I needed so much money, and third, I don't know where to begin from. I was confused about all these things. Now, after crossing the hurdle that okay, I want to go do some in Europe and do some in the US, which school to select? These were the confusions that came in my mind. And now, after I finally applied, and from in fact, I say today I will sleep, I will receive we regret to inform you that tomorrow we are sorry. Tomorrow, so a lot of them I receive negative feedback from many of them. So these things really affected me so much, and it was not easy. So basically, left with about the last three schools. That is when I began to receive positive, and then eventually funding from one of the schools. So basically, that's how my journey went.
Interesting. The last three schools, and you did mention something which also tackles some of the myth, right, about grad school, and hopefully we'll have some time for you to share more about it. Like who can apply to grad school, right? So much myth. You have to know a politician, especially if you're coming from a place like Ghana, right? You have to know a politician. You have to come from a rich family. You have to have a first class. But interesting, I
Yes.
didn't have first class, right? And guess what? I also got into grad school. So we'll find time to tackle that. And I believe a lot of people. Now, coming back to one of the things that you did say, I'll go to Brigadion and then follow up with you. Brigadion, now, my first question, did you also get a first class? Right. And, and did you go through some anxiety, some challenges? right? And how did you overcome them?
Yes. So I also had a first class by God's grace and good mentorship from Marina. Yeah. And one of the key anxieties that I faced, truth be told, I didn't worry much about where to apply to, which schools to apply to, because I already had Bramawina on my side those times. So he was giving me the guidelines. So he sacrificed himself, so to put. Yeah. And I was able to identify some key schools that I wanted to apply to. Some key anxieties that I faced were deadlines. Deadlines were catching up with me. I haven't submitted applications, partly due to the cost involved. So that was some of the challenging moments. And then um, getting the document that I needed, because I had just graduated, I had just completed my last semester in the school, and I have to send my applications. Some of the applications were requiring me for my certificate. My results were not yet released, and some schools were asking me for certificate, transcript. How do I get those things? How do I get professors to write recommendations? Professors were tied up, they were busy. I have to chase them up and down. So those were some of the anxiety that I faced. But by God's grace, I was able to get my certificate submitted. Some schools took the unofficial transcript, so I gave it to them, and then later on submitted my official transcript. And here we are today.
Here we are today. Congratulations. And Bragida, you did mention about something that I believe each and every one of us, right, should take note of, the role of mentorship, right? And that's why global education opportunity now it's out here, right, to help us as many people who are willing, right, to ride on to the next stage of their life. So mentorship is critical. Mentorship is critical. And we thank God for Bra Mawina who helped you through. But during this, you got a first class, right? However, during the admission process, I want to know, were you proactive in the process, right? What were some of the things that you did that you think was able to bring or come through your goals and your desires? And after that, I'll come to Bra Mawina.
Yes. Uh, Yes, I had a first class in my undergraduate studies, yet I was still proactive during the application process, even after submitting applications. I remember sometimes it had to take like 2 months, no decision, nothing coming. I wasn't hearing from the schools. So I have to consistently email the program coordinators, asking them, I have submitted my application, have they looked at it, have they reviewed it? And I was also taking that opportunity to better myself, because I wasn't too sure of myself. Not to, I wouldn't put it that way. I didn't have it in my mind that because I have first class, I had a good GPA, automatically I have to admitted into a school. I didn't have that in mind. I was prepared for any outcome. So I was still at my workplace trying to better myself, attending conferences, and then reading and studying. I didn't do any publication at that time, but I was still using that opportunity to learn and then better myself. Should I do applications again, so that I can do the right things the next time?
That is very, very, very critical, right? How do you stay responsive in that process? And although you got a first class, once again, debunking that myth, right? You were proactive. You were contacting the graduate coordinator or the director, right? And this is a clue to anyone who is in this process. You're waiting for your admission, right? Try to stay connected to the graduate coordinator. At times they'll tell you, oh, they don't have any influence. It's the committee that does it. Yes, they have a committee, right? But make sure they know you. Make sure you have a conversation with them, either correspondence through email or you jump on a Zoom with them. But basically, just make sure that when they see your name, they recognize who you are and your persistence, and that can make a difference either in the admission and especially in the funding, right? So make sure you do that. So Brahma, I also know you got a first class, right? And congratulations on that. But
Yeah.
what are the things that you did, right, that you think made the last three applications successful?
Yeah. So beyond first class, I want to say that a graduate school is not only for first class. I have said several times that uh, beyond your first class to survive in the system, you need a lot of resilience, a lot of other things to be able to survive. But then, in terms of being proactive, I would say that number one, some of the programs, okay, in the US require GRE. The same way in Europe require TOEFL, IELTS, and some important examinations. Immediately I graduated, I heard some of the people who graduated before us went to universities outside without GRE. So I told myself I was not going to write any GRE. I was not going to learn anything called GRE. And you'll be surprised, That's why the first year I couldn't make it to any school because there was nothing compelling about me. So if there is a required exam to write in your area, check top five schools or five schools in your area, see their requirements. If there's any exams required, take it. Take it early. If you didn't do well, doesn't mean you are bad. Retake it. Now, beyond examination, like taking exams, some of us have gone to industry before coming. The industry give you a lot of exposure compared to somebody who just finish and want to go to school. Now, take advantage of the things that you think can help your graduate school journey. A lot of reading, a lot of whatever is there. I had my company subscribe to a lot of LinkedIn courses. So I took a lot of LinkedIn courses on leadership, and so many of them. You think that they are not important, but it adds value to even your LinkedIn profile. Okay, and anybody that takes your profile, it knows that okay, this is what you have done. Now, some of us have opportunity to do thesis at the undergraduate level. See, graduate school is all about research, 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 research. If the professors are able to see that this guy published something, in fact, that is a plus to you. It's not an absolute criteria that grants you your master's or your PhD. A lot of things are going to be considered, but it is one that can put you in advantage, a place of advantage compared to your friends. Now, again, you cannot be applying to a school without checking on any professor. That is a wrong move. Being proactive will mean that check the professors and tailor your interest that you are writing in your SOP to some of the professors. In my area, we have international trade, we have production economics, we have resource economics, we have environmental economics, we have health economics, and then we have agricultural economics. And so a lot of them have interest. And so for me, today, if I'm applying for a master's program, I will look into the profile of one of the professors or some of the professors. Okay, they do a lot of production economics here, and my interest, most of them will be written according to the interest of the professors. That is what gives you an advantage. Failure to do that, you want to go and do your own thing in the whole world. In fact, you have to admit yourself. So basically, those are the preparations that I think that you need to be able to take advantage of the opportunity to get a nod. Thank you.
So much myth that has been debunked, right? That you have to be what? You have to be the master of everything before you apply to grad school. But sincerely, no, right? Just make sure that you focus on your strength. And you did mention something about publications. And I think Brad Gideon also did say that. So Brahma, did you have any publication before applying to grad school?
Um, Personally, no, but the work I did, I spoke a lot about it. It was something on rice prices, foreign prices against domestic prices in Ghana, and it was quite very nice. Whilst I was a TA, we were working on it towards publication, but we couldn't publish it. But it was compelling that took greater part of my SOP. Yeah, but I think that getting a publication for a master is not required. Even for a PhD, it's not required, but it gives you an advantage. Yeah.
You it gives you an advantage. So to retrieve what you just said, you don't need to necessarily have a published article, right? However, the project, and when we talk about projects, right, probably your term papers, right,
Yeah.
that you did, and that also comes back that you have to take those 10 papers what seriously and incorporate them. And over time, I remember how I was sharing on one podcast with our grad school, and I was telling them how I turn most of my end of term papers, right, into articles, published articles, right. So I don't sit to write articles, kind of like, okay, this is the topic, but the end of term papers that I write, I make sure I write it well. And after that, I turn them into publishable articles. That's a good way. And guess what? One of those has been published into one of the top nature.com, very top journal, right? So you have to take all the opportunities very well, very serious while you are in school. So as we conclude this section, right, everyone, once again, this is the global education opportunity now, and we're looking at how to respond to grad school admissions. And in this section, we want to understand the mindset of grad applicants, right? Debunking some of the myth, right, and some of the stress and some of the challenges that they faced. And today we are blessed and glad to have Mawina and Gideon. And although they had first class, right, but they've made us to understand that you don't have to have a first class to go to grad school. And me, I'm talking to you. I didn't have a first class, right? I didn't get a first class. So it gives you the opportunity that there's a room for you in grad school. There's a seat for you. All you need to do is to make sure that what you put up a compelling application. And as they did mention, if you don't have a publication, and probably coming from the industry, which is something that I'll follow up very quickly. Gideon will probably touch on that, right? If someone is not coming directly from undergrad, right? The person finished and worked for a while, right? How should the person kind of like package himself, right? What mindset should the person come in with, right? And then finally, Brahmawina, you touch on that, and then we'll wrap up for this section.
Okay, so someone coming from the industry, you've worked for some time, you have the working experience, and it may also be course specific. There are some courses like the MBA, they need people who have that business experience, like the working experience. So if you are coming from an industry, you just have to tailor your application in a way telling the committee that the experience that you have from the field, the experience that you have from the industry will contribute to your success as a student.
Thank you. Brahmawina, how can someone, right? And then I'll come up with my final. I just got a final question as well that came by. Someone coming from industry, right? How I know you mentioned that, right? How should they stress on their strength? Are there some techniques? Are there some advice that you have for them?
Yeah. So again, in the area of agricultural economics, um, coming from industry gives you an advantage. Okay, going to the industry give you a lot of advantage. Industry before school. Why? Because um, when you go to the industry, we perceive that you understand the problem better than somebody who is just from the classroom, because you have had one-on-one with farmers or maybe the producers. You know what they are really going through, the supply chain, and you understand their concerns better, and so it puts you on another level compared to somebody who is just coming from the classroom. But then again, all these things, they are just um, ways that you can put your words into, like, making a compelling statement that, okay, look, I have this, I have that, I have that. That sets me apart from all the other people. So it's a way of communicating your skills that you have built over time. I became very good at Excel after graduating, because I had to do a lot of Excel stuff, and I did a lot of coordinations, and working on compliance. And these things sometimes are required. When I came immediately, I did some project with industry people, and I had to do interviews and transcribe and all that. And at the end of the day, we finished the project and submitted it to the people who contracted us right here in the university. So you see, these skills from the field has assisted me to do a better job on my project. So I feel that immediately you graduate, and the school opportunity come, grab it. But if they don't come, go to the industry, gain some experiences that can put you on another level for the school application. So that's my submission.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing your experience. Now, as we wrap up, this is your final thoughts. 30 seconds each, right? What advice will you give, right, to anyone waiting on their application now, right? How can they manage their emotional well-being during this, should I put a quote unquote like stressful waiting period? What advice? Just one. Just one. I'll start with Brahma Winner and then Brankidium.
Okay, so I would say that if you are still waiting to get admission, emotional intelligence is very important. Just like you budget for everything before you go to the market, budget for your emotions. Know that applying to grad school is 50-50 something, and it could come out positive, it could come out negative. I understand from our religious backgrounds, we were taught that, hey, think positive. Positive should be 90, and negative should be 10. I understand that, but please make it 50-50, so that you are not surprised by the outcome, because some of them can be shocking, makes you emaciated, confused. Why me? Why am I that bad and all that? No, just know that it is a 50-50 uh, something. You may be accepted or you may be rejected. And being rejected does not mean that you are bad. Maybe your interest is not well aligned with any professor in that department, or maybe your interest uh, being aligned with another professor, there is another person who has a better qualification than you. That is why. And so look forward for the next school or something like that. So it doesn't mean that you are bad. Just budget for your emotions. It will save you from a lot of stress. Thank you.
Yes. So as Awena has said, just be ready for anything at all. Yeah. With you can have a first class, a very good GPA. You are competing against people from all over the world for just 5 slots in the department. And then at times you wouldn't know the things that graduate school is considering. So just be prepared, whatever that you believe in. I believed in God. I was praying to God that God should show me mercy and show me favor, and it worked out for me. It doesn't mean that I wasn't rejected. There were some times that I was rejected. Some schools rejected me, and some schools also accepted me. Others accepted me, others gave me partial funding, and I just have to decide, pray to God, and then decide on one. So just be prepared for anything, and at the end of the day, just believe that whatever come what may, you'll be able to stand and then make a very good decision. Rejections are good. They are not what we expect most of the time, but you wouldn't know the reason why you were rejected until God revealed that to you. So just be rest assured that whatever happens, that is what God wants for you at this moment, and a very big door will open should the first door be closed. So just be prepared for anything at all.
Yeah, just one more thing. I feel that rejection sometimes they make you stronger, because if your life is all about yes, 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 yes all the time, I think that you might be doing a lot of great disservice to yourself, because life in itself has some rejections that are very good and put you on a better path. And so I want to encourage you. You got to know, move on, move on, do something else that can prepare you for the next application window. Rewrite your GRA, write your SOP, seek for mentorship, and do something else that puts you on a different pedestal compared to your previous application.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. And very, very glad that this worked out. One thing that I picked up is that you having what a rejection doesn't mean that you're not good, right? Just make sure that you work on whatever you need to work on and come back strong. So we'll end here and then we'll catch up on the next conversation very soon. Thank you. Bye bye.